Betrayal has many faces. There's the kind you can see, the kind that leaves evidence. There's the kind that plays with your mind, making you question your own sanity. And then there's the quietest, but perhaps the deadliest kind, the betrayal of silence. Today we have 3 stories that explore the darkest corners of deception. And after hearing them, you'll have to ask yourself, which one is truly the worst?
My marriage is in a really bad spot after a deep breach of trust. I don't know how to recover or how to trust my wife again. We've been together for 7 years, married for 5. We have a 2-year-old son. She was the most loving, unselfish, and decent person I'd ever met. The kind of person you think only exists in movies. Our biggest obstacle was always her family. They're very close-knit, and they never welcomed me. I was always the outsider. I knew family was extremely important to her, so I tried everything to make it work. They didn't really start to tolerate me until our son was born. But before that, there was a period of absolute hell.
Between our wedding planning and the wedding itself, I was the target of some relentless and vicious cyberbullying. It got personal. Fake, disgusting reviews polluted my business profile. It cost me clients. I didn't know where it was coming from or why. It felt like being haunted by a ghost I couldn't see. I'd report the accounts, but more would just pop up like a hydra's heads. The whole thing took a massive toll on my mental health. And through it all, my wife was incredibly supportive. She was my rock. She held me while I was falling apart. I loved her even more for how she held me down. Then, one day, the trolling just stopped. I wanted nothing more than to move on and put it all behind me. And I did, until the other day. The other day, my wife confessed that her family was behind the harassment. I didn't believe her at first, but she showed me the proof in their family group chat. Reading their messages, it was like the last 2 years of my life were a lie. They were gloating. "Some people gotta learn the hard way," one wrote. "If he wants to join the fold, here's his initiation." I knew they didn't like me, but I never realized they hated me enough to go to such extremes. I asked my wife when she found out. She swore she wasn't a part of it. She claimed she didn't know until a few months before our wedding, when she saw a profile on her sister's phone and confronted them, making them stop. But that didn't make it better. It made it worse. She knew for years what they did, and she hid it from me. It hurts more coming from her because she saw my pain firsthand. She held me while I cried over wounds that her own family was inflicting. She watched me suffer, all while knowing who was responsible. I was numb. She started crying, begging me to understand, saying she was trying to fix things with as little damage as possible. But what she did was no better than her family. Their first instinct was to attack me. Her first instinct was to cover for them. I told her I needed space, but she hasn't respected that. I'm trying to move past it, but I feel so betrayed. Every happy memory we've made since she found out now feels tainted, like a beautiful photograph with a crack running through it. I kept opening up to her about the incident, even after she knew the truth. She would encourage me to let it go. Now I just see it as her attempt to protect her family. The hardest part is the distance between us. She's my best friend. Now we mostly only communicate about our son. I hate all of this. I want to make our marriage work,
but I'm questioning everything.
A betrayal of trust, hidden for years. But what happens when the betrayal is happening right now, and it's something you can't even comprehend? When the reality is so much darker than your worst fears? Our next story is about exactly that.
For a few months, I thought my boyfriend was cheating on me. All the classic signs were there. The late nights at work, the way he'd angle his phone away from me when I walked into the room. I was driving myself crazy, piecing together clues, my stomach in knots, imagining him with someone else. I confronted him several times, but he always had a plausible excuse, and he was so good at making me feel guilty for even asking. He'd show me his texts, and they'd be clean. I started to think I was going crazy, that I was the toxic one, the crazy girlfriend who couldn't trust her partner. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. Then I found out the truth, and God, I wish he had just been cheating, because what he was actually doing was so much worse.
One night, he left his laptop open. An email was on the screen. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a love letter. It was a transaction. A payment confirmation from a website I'd never heard of. I searched the name. It was a marketplace on the dark web. I started digging deeper, my hands shaking so hard I could barely type, my heart pounding in my ears. He wasn't having an affair. He was selling my personal information, my private photos, my address, my social security number, copies of my passport, all of it. He had packaged my entire identity and was selling it to the highest bidder. Those late nights weren't dates. They were him in our apartment, trafficking my life for a few $1,000s in cryptocurrency. The betrayal wasn't about his body. It was about my entire existence. A cheater breaks your heart, but this felt like he had sold my soul without me even knowing. How do you trust anyone after this? How do you even trust your own judgment?
It's hard to imagine a deeper betrayal than that. But what if the person you're betraying isn't just your partner? What if, for your entire relationship, you've been betraying them with your silence? Our final story is about a different kind of disappearance. Not a physical one, but the disappearance of truth.
My boyfriend and I dated for 2 years. I loved him, and probably still love him, more than anyone else I've ever known. He was good to me in so many ways. He was the most supportive person in my life, and he always made me feel interesting and wanted. When we moved in together after a year, it was the happiest year of my life. We were perfectly balanced. But then he started a Midwest emo band and began spending more and more time with them. He was often out very late. I trusted him so much that I never once questioned the amount of time he spent away. I believed in his dream. I believed in us.
A little over a month ago, one of his band friends reached out to me on Instagram while he was out. He said that my boyfriend had been hooking up with women he met through his band on several occasions. He said he knew of 3 girls he has cheated on me with. 3. He would have sex with them, and then come home, climb into our bed, tell me he loved me, and have sex with me too. I don't know how you can do that to the person you love. When my boyfriend got home that night, I couldn't even look at him. I was already in bed, so I just ignored him and pretended to sleep. I felt like a ghost in my own bed, next to a stranger. My heart was shattered, and all I wanted was to reach out to him for reassurance, but I was terrified of being lied to. I spent most of my childhood in a really oppressive home, and confrontation is really triggering for me. I lose my voice. I can't talk. I knew I couldn't face him.
When he went to work the next day, I called my sister. She drove 2 hours to help me pack all my stuff so I could move out. While he was still at work, I texted him that I knew he cheated on me and I was breaking up with him. I told him to never contact me again, and then I blocked him on everything. His phone, social media, everything. He had no idea he would come home to find me completely moved out, completely removed from his life. Part of my approach came from a place of vindictiveness. If I didn't matter to him, fine. I wanted to show him how easy it was to cut him completely out of my life. He has tried to get in touch with me since then, reaching out to my friends, my sister. I've completely ignored him. I'm still so hurt that I don't know if I can face him. But I know it's evil. I know it's cruel. But denying him closure, denying him the chance to explain or lie, it hurts him. I know it does. And right now, that's all I want. Maybe I am a bad person for wanting him to hurt. Or maybe after a lifetime of silence, taking back control is the only voice I have left.
3 stories, 3 devastating betrayals. The first, a family's attack hidden by years of silence. The second, a shocking psychological violation for financial gain. And the third, a swift and total disappearance as a form of revenge. And now the question is for you, which betrayal was truly the worst? The one that attacked a man's reputation? The one that stole a woman's identity? Or the one that simply broke her heart? There are no easy answers here. Let me know what you think in the comments.